My name is Natalie Hayes, and I'm 34 years old. Competence doesn't announce itself. It hums. Dishwasher set to off-peak at 12:01. Budget cells sealing themselves in soft green. The quiet steadiness that keeps the floor from tipping over. I like ballast. Nobody praises ballast until the boat lists. Thursday evening, the apartment smelled faintly of bergamot and roasted garlic. The lamp carved a soft triangle across the rug Daniel picked, which really meant I bought it and he approved. I was finishing up my monthly reconciliation, fingers gliding over the keyboard, when my phone buzzed. Daniel's voice drifted faintly from the living room. He was on speakerphone. "Mom, I just don't want her to ever know," Valerie said, low but urgent. I froze, thumb hovering over the screen. Valerie Walker, Daniel's ex-girlfriend, college sweetheart, the one he claimed he hadn't spoken to in over a year. Her voice had that practiced, sweet panic, the kind that makes you think she knows better than anyone else, even when she doesn't. "Sweetheart, you did what's best," she continued, a tremor in her voice. "You can't let this baby derail your plans. She's been so excited, I couldn't handle that look from her." My gut dropped. The texts came in rapid succession. "Babe, I need your help ASAP. Denise is in the hospital. Emergency surgery. They need payment up front. Please, I need $5,000 wired right now. I'm at the hospital. I can't think straight." Denise, 26, Valerie's younger sister, living 2 hours away. I'd met her maybe 5 times. A sweet kid, dental hygienist, polite, dependable. "What happened? Is she okay?" I typed instantly. "Appendix burst. They said it's serious, infection risk. I'm freaking out. Mom's not answering her phone. I'm the only one here. Please, I'll pay you back once I access my savings. It's locked in a CD. I wouldn't ask if it weren't life or death." I had the money. About $15,000 in savings earmarked for emergencies. This seemed like exactly the kind of emergency it was for. I excused myself from the apartment, ducked into the kitchen, fingers trembling slightly, and logged into my bank. 5 minutes later, confirmation number 847392 flashed on my phone. $5,000 wired. My hands still shook. The text came seconds after. "Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love you so much. They just took her back. I'll call when I know more." And then, silence. The rest of the day passed without a single update. I sent a few thinking of you texts, all unanswered. It was unusual, but I chalked it up to stress. The next morning, still nothing. My messages went straight to voicemail. Anxiety settled in my chest like lead. I scrolled through Instagram absent-mindedly, sandwich in hand, when my stomach dropped. A story popped up on my feed. My friend Derek had reposted a video from a club promoter he follows. Music thumping, sparklers flying, VIP tables lined with champagne. And there she was, Valerie, laughing, bottle in hand, a man's arm around her waist. Trevor. Daniel had mentioned him once. A college ex Valerie claimed she hadn't spoken to in over a year. The location tag, Miami. Posted 11 hours ago. That meant Tuesday night, the same night Denise supposedly had emergency surgery. I stared at the screen, heart hammering. Same dress as the day before, same hair, same laugh. My fingers shook. That feeling, when reality flips on you completely, hit like a punch. Part of me wanted to call her, scream at her, demand answers. Another part wanted to confront Trevor. But something held me back. Something colder. Logic. I opened a new browser tab and searched wire fraud police report. Lying to obtain money via electronic transfer is a federal crime. Mail and wire fraud, 18 U.S.C. Narrow 143. That's all I needed to know for the moment. I drove to the police station and asked to file a report. Detective Harrison, maybe late 40s, perpetually tired, took my statement. I showed him the texts, the wire confirmation, the Instagram video, the timing of her posts. "You're talking about wire fraud," he said. "Tough to prosecute because you have to prove intent to defraud at the time of the request. But based on what you've got, we can look into it." I handed over screenshots, account info, flight details Valerie had posted publicly. He started a case file, took everything down meticulously, then reminded me not to contact her while the investigation proceeded. Walking out of the station, I felt hollow. Not vindicated, not satisfied, just hollow, like waiting for a punch that had already landed. Wednesday morning, Valerie posted a story. Beachfront restaurant. Champagne. Trevor. Miami. I blocked her on everything: Instagram, Facebook, text messages. If she wanted to reach me, she would have to work for it. Thursday, my phone rang from an unknown number. I ignored it. Voicemail notification popped up. Hey, babe, it's me. Lost my phone at the club Tuesday night. Just got a new one. Denise is doing so much better. Surgery went great. I've been exhausted. Call me back. Love you. The audacity, the absolute audacity. I saved that voicemail, emailed it to Detective Harrison. Proof she maintained the lie. I didn't respond. 2 days later, a text from an unknown number. Unknown? It was Valerie. Why are you ignoring me? What's going on? This is immature. I just went through a family emergency and you're playing games. I screenshot everything, sent it to Harrison. No reply. Update 1. 2 weeks since the police report. Things were moving faster than I expected. Detective Harrison called. Valerie had been brought in for questioning. She initially stuck to her story, then requested a lawyer. Classic move. We're pursuing this, Harrison said. Wire fraud investigations take time, but your documentation is solid. Her changing story doesn't help her case. Meanwhile, Valerie's attempts to reach me escalated. Friends, unknown numbers, emotional appeals. But I didn't respond. Not a single word. And there I sat, apartment quiet except for the faint hum of the dishwasher, staring at the soft triangle of light on the rug, realizing that sometimes, even when you do everything right, people will try to manipulate you anyway. Wednesday afternoon, I couldn't stop thinking about that Miami video. Valerie laughing, Trevor at her side, while her sister supposedly lay in surgery. My hands still trembled whenever I glanced at my phone. Logic warred with emotion. How could she do this? Was there any way I was misunderstanding? I tried to convince myself it was old footage, posted late, but the timestamp said otherwise. Same dress, same hair, same laugh from the day before. Every detail screamed that the emergencies had been fabricated. I paced the apartment, letting my mind replay every text, every frantic plea. $5,000. Gone. Sent to fund a night of champagne and club music instead of a life-saving surgery. The anger pooled deep in my chest. Hot, sharp, almost physical. Betrayal doesn't hit in one moment. It creeps in, saturates every thought until you're suffocating in disbelief. I knew the first step. Document everything. Screenshots of texts, payment confirmations, social media posts, notes about timing, Instagram stories, and flight details. Every little breadcrumb had to be preserved. By Thursday morning, I had a folder on my laptop filled with evidence. The next step was law enforcement. Detective Harrison had already advised me on the basics: wire fraud, federal crime, intent to defraud, electronic transfer. It all lined up. I called him, gave an update, and he told me they'd start digging deeper. Phone records, flight logs, bank deposits. A process that could take weeks, months even. But at least, finally, there was hope for justice. And yet the betrayal gnawed at me. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Valerie's face grinning in that club video. The audacity, the manipulation. My heart twisted with disbelief. How can someone be so calculated and shameless? By Friday, my phone buzzed again. Another unknown number, another message from Valerie. You called the police on me? Are you insane? Do you know what this could do to my career? You're ruining my life over $5,000. I didn't respond. I forwarded the message to Harrison. Legal documentation. Check. Pattern established. Check. Emotional detachment. In progress. The audacity was astounding. She had lied, stolen money, and now tried to intimidate me into compliance. Every word she sent was a manipulation tactic, a test of my patience, my integrity, and I refused to bite. That weekend, I received a call from Valerie's best friend, Brittany. Her tone was frantic, almost pleading. What is your problem? I asked bluntly. Brittany launched into her defense. Val is crying every day. You're ghosting her. She's been through so much. Don't you care? I breathed slowly, keeping my voice steady. Interesting. Denise almost died from appendicitis. While Valerie was in Miami posting bottle service videos, that's the situation in a nutshell. Silence on the other end. Then she hung up. It was the clarity I needed. No one could argue with the cold, hard facts. Valerie's fabricated emergency had served one purpose: to scam me out of money. And that was exactly what I would prove. Monday arrived, and I had a meeting with Harrison. We went over everything again. text logs, timestamps, screenshots, the Instagram video, my bank confirmation. Harrison's eyes were tired, but focused. Everything points to deliberate deception, he said. Phone records, flight logs, bank deposits. She's left herself wide open, but federal prosecutors will decide how far to take it. That night, I sat in my apartment alone, lights dim, the hum of the dishwasher a constant background. The apartment felt smaller somehow, compressed with anxiety and simmering anger. I realized that the real betrayal wasn't just the money. It was the deliberate exploitation of trust, of empathy. That kind of violation lingers. By Wednesday, Valerie escalated. Multiple texts from new numbers, social media messages from strangers on her behalf, attempts to paint me as the villain. She was gaslighting, trying to twist the narrative. Friends, acquaintances, even Daniel's old college friends started messaging, caught in her web of manipulation. And yet I didn't respond. Not a single word. Every message I ignored became evidence of her attempts to intimidate, to deflect blame. Every text I preserved strengthened my position. I began to see the pattern. This wasn't impulsive, not a one-time panic-driven lie. Valerie had done this before, using family emergencies, crying for money, creating urgency to manipulate others into compliance. The audacity and precision of it shocked me. Thursday, I finally felt a small sense of control. Harrison assured me that with the evidence, the investigation was progressing. Flight records confirmed her departure to Miami before the text. Bank deposits proved she had redirected the $5,000 to herself. Her sister confirmed there had been no emergency. I allowed myself a moment to breathe. Not relief, not satisfaction, just a small, quiet acknowledgement that I was doing the right thing. That despite the betrayal, despite the audacity, despite the manipulation, the truth would come to light. And in that apartment, softly lit, smelling faintly of bergamot and garlic, I felt the first stirrings of resolve. Valerie had underestimated me, underestimated my methodical nature, my commitment to integrity. That would be her mistake. The betrayal was real. The consequences would be too. By Friday, the situation had escalated beyond anything I expected. Valerie's attempts to manipulate me didn't stop with texts. She had enlisted friends, unknown numbers, and social media accounts to continue the pressure. It started small. Messages from friends like Brittany, pleading, accusing, defending Valerie. Then it became relentless. New numbers, blocked Instagram accounts, even Daniel's old acquaintances messaging me. Each one painted me as the villain. The betrayal had morphed into harassment, and I could feel the walls closing in. One evening, Brittany called. Her voice was high-pitched, almost panicked. "Natalie, do you know what she's going through? She's crying every day. She can't eat, she can't sleep. Why won't you just talk to her?" I inhaled slowly, forcing calm. "Interesting," I said evenly. Denise nearly had emergency surgery. Valerie was in Miami posting bottle service videos. That's the reality. Brittany was silent for a moment. Then she hung up. I could feel the tension settling into my chest like ice. The audacity. Valerie weaponizing her friends to guilt-trip me. But I refused to engage. Every call, text, and social media message I documented. Everything became evidence. Then came HR. Thursday morning, Dana, my manager, called. "Hi, Natalie. We received an email from a Valerie. Last name. She claims you've been harassing her, stalking her online, and making false reports to the police in retaliation for ending your relationship. Can you explain?" My blood ran cold. "Yes," I said. I explained everything. The wire transfer, the Instagram video, the documentation I had already provided Detective Harrison, the evidence of her lies, and her frivolous attempts to intimidate me. Dana listened, typed notes. "Okay. So she's trying to get you fired in retaliation for reporting a crime?" "Yes. Document this call. Keep copies of everything. We won't entertain frivolous complaints from criminals." I hung up, shaky, but slightly reassured. My integrity intact, my job secure, for now. Meanwhile, Valerie's pattern became clearer. Denise confirmed there had been no emergency. Flight logs, bank deposits, and the timeline of events painted an irrefutable picture. The $5,000 she had requested under false pretenses had been redirected, hotel upgrades, club reservations, even a transfer to Trevor for his business. Every attempt at manipulation, every feigned victimhood strengthened my case. My frustration and anger mingled with a grim satisfaction. I had expected chaos, betrayal, and heartbreak, but I had also expected to fight back, armed with facts and evidence. Even Daniel, supportive as ever, reminded me to document everything, maintain boundaries, and let the authorities handle it. It was comforting to have his steadiness amidst the storm, his quiet confidence a reminder that I wasn't alone in this fight. By the following week, Detective Harrison called with updates. He had gathered phone records, verified flight information, and confirmed bank deposits. Valerie had attempted to contact Trevor from Miami before sending me the emergency texts. Her narrative was unraveling. I spent that week in a constant state of alert, documenting every contact, screening calls, and archiving messages. The harassment was relentless, but my resolve hardened. I refused to be intimidated or guilt-tripped. Social media became a battleground. Valerie posted cryptic stories, designed to imply that I was the manipulative one. Friends, mutual acquaintances, even random strangers began questioning the narrative. I stayed silent, letting the evidence speak for itself. Late nights in the apartment became a ritual, coffee in hand, soft music playing, reviewing every screenshot, every bank confirmation, every Instagram story. The apartment, once a sanctuary of calm, now felt like a fortress of strategy. Through it all, I felt a strange clarity. Valerie had underestimated me. She thought deception, charm, and manipulation could bend reality in her favor. She had no idea I would document, verify, and escalate everything with precision. The betrayal had evolved into harassment. The manipulation had escalated, but so had my determination. Every call ignored, every text saved, every screenshot taken was a step toward justice. And in the quiet, dimly lit apartment, I realized something crucial. The audacity of the liar is no match for the diligence of someone who refuses to be fooled. 2 months had passed since that first frantic text from Valerie. The investigation had progressed steadily, each piece of evidence meticulously gathered. Flight logs showing her departure to Miami before texting me, bank statements confirming the $5,000 was spent on luxury hotel upgrades, club reservations, and transfers to Trevor. Denise, the sister she claimed was in crisis, confirmed she had no emergency, no knowledge of the supposed surgery. Detective Harrison called one morning with clarity in his voice. "Natalie, we've built a strong case. All the documentation points to deliberate deception. Valerie's actions meet the criteria for wire fraud. Federal and state authorities are reviewing it now." Relief washed over me, mingling with a sense of vindication. Finally, the manipulation and betrayal had tangible consequences. Then came the sole lawsuit. Valerie had filed against me, claiming defamation and harassment, seeking $25,000 in damages. I laughed out loud the first time I read it. Her audacity was staggering. She stole $5,000 under false pretenses and now wanted to punish me for reporting her crime. My lawyer, Patterson, quickly assured me, "This is frivolous. Truth is an absolute defense to defamation. You reported a suspected crime with evidence. You have nothing to worry about." The civil case moved swiftly. Evidence of Valerie's lies, the Instagram video, text admissions, and her history of deception all supported my position. The judge dismissed her lawsuit with prejudice, meaning she couldn't refile. Valerie was also ordered to pay $8,400 in legal fees, a small measure of restitution for the wasted time and stress. Valerie's mother, Claire, made one last attempt to intervene. She came to my apartment, demanding I drop the police complaint, insisting that her daughter had made a mistake. I told her calmly, "Your daughter lied, stole money, and manipulated me. The authorities decide what consequences she faces. That is not up to me." She left, frustrated and crying, but I didn't waver. Finally, the criminal proceedings advanced. Valerie was formally charged with wire fraud, federal and theft by deception charges, with state backup charges in place. Her preliminary hearing was scheduled for the following month. The U.S. Attorney's Office rejected plea deals that would allow her to avoid significant consequences. The message was clear. Manipulation and fraud have real repercussions, even in small-scale cases. Meanwhile, Trevor vanished from social media, leaving Valerie to face the consequences alone. Denise reached out, apologizing for being dragged into the mess and confirming her unwillingness to support any of Valerie's false claims. Every ally Valerie attempted to use to gaslight me had vanished under the weight of facts. As for me, life slowly regained its rhythm. Apartment quiet, the soft hum of the dishwasher at night, faint scent of bergamot. My routines restored. I reflected on what had happened, the audacity of the liar, the betrayal, the harassment, but also my own resilience. I had acted with integrity, documented everything, and allowed the justice system to deliver consequences where personal confrontation could not. There were whispers from mutual acquaintances, vague posts on social media hinting at toxic men and vindictive exes, but they didn't touch me. I had nothing to hide, nothing to fear. Ultimately, Valerie's career in event planning was over. News of the wire fraud charges reached her employer. She had no choice but to face professional and legal consequences. The money might not yet be recovered, but even if it wasn't, the real victory was this: justice, integrity preserved, and the end of manipulation. I blocked Valerie, blocked her family and friends, and let the authorities handle restitution. I no longer checked social media obsessively. My apartment felt lighter, my mind quieter. I had survived the audacity, the betrayal, and the harassment. I had acted decisively, methodically, and with integrity. The preliminary hearing came and went. Valerie pled not guilty. Released on bail, her mother paid. But she faced a long road, legal consequences, financial restitution, and a reputation permanently damaged. I allowed myself a small smile as I closed the chapter on this saga. The audacity never stops, but neither does diligence, integrity, and the courage to stand by the truth. Some people might say I went too far, that I could have demanded the money back and moved on. But the truth is, Valerie didn't just steal money. She weaponized trust, empathy, and kindness. She lied about a life-or-death family emergency, gaslighted, attempted to ruin my career, and sued me to intimidate me. People like that don't learn without facing real consequences. And now finally they were. I sat on the couch, apartment quiet, soft light from the lamp across the rug. Daniel leaned against the doorframe, quietly supportive, watching me. I felt a deep sense of relief, not vengeance, not triumph in cruelty, just the satisfaction that the system worked and justice prevailed. I was ready to move forward, free from lies, free from manipulation, and free to live without compromise.